Bang, 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 bang. Got him. Welcome to the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm the host with the most. My name is Michael Marcanio, and I'm joined here with my two guys, my ride or dies.
Whoa, I don't want to die.
I don't either.
Or do you?
Anyways, I got Tyler Revelis on the left, also known as It's Your Boy T, and I got Anthony Revelis on the right. And we're going today.
Dude, it's also your boy B. B for Billabong.
Billabong boy. But anyways, today is episode 64. We're going over Thursday night football game. We have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers. The game is in Carolina. Is that correct? Pretty sure.
Yeah, correct.
It's in Carolina.
You chose wisely.
I chose wisely. Oops. Yeah, so the game's in Carolina. Anyways, we're going to go through who to start, who to sit within the Carolina Panthers and Falcons game.
Who to sit,
this is actually one of the, I think I'm more excited for this Thursday night game than the last fucking 6. They've been kind of boring, so this should be exciting tomorrow.
Well, we didn't have one last week, did we? No, we had the
it was
Giants
2 weeks
Eagles,
ago.
and then we didn't have one before that.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. We didn't have one.
The Giants Eagles game didn't end up being bad.
It wasn't
I wasn't
too
excited
bad
for it, but it ended up having a decent
Yeah, but I just
ending.
wasn't excited for an NFC East divisional matchup.
Dude, the NFC Beast this year?
Yeah.
those crazy
I think
2-5
Washington could win that
records?
division.
Hey,
But
I'm not mad at it.
Nah, it's going to be the Eagles, dog. For Kobe.
Kobe.
Everyone keeps
Yeah,
winning
that's
for
like,
Kobe.
what's that?
You had the Lakers winning for Kobe, Dodgers winning for Kobe. Now, I'm not saying the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl, but
Yeah,
my guy Kobe was an Eagle fan. So
Yeah,
that division's pretty bad.
listen, they're not.
I think the Eagles are going to win that division at least.
So you're saying there's a chance?
You're saying there's a chance.
Okay, well, I don't know how I feel about that, but if you want to easily navigate through this episode, go check the table of contents within the description. On YouTube, it is clickable, so you can navigate that way. If you don't have time for the full episode on the Apple Podcast app or whatever audio streaming service you use, that is not going to be clickable, but you can stream through and see the timestamps there and know when we're talking about certain players. So if you just want to hear us talk about Todd Gurley, you can skip through to there. If you want to hear us talk about Robby Anderson, you can skip through to there. Yeah, just an easy way to navigate through the podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already. And if you would like to be featured on the podcast, go ahead and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Also, we have a website now. It's called avgfantasyfootball.com, and we've been putting articles up there. Mostly right now, we've just been experimenting, posting like waiver wire articles. So if that's something you want to check out, that link is in the description as well. Give us your feedback on that. That would be appreciated as well. Yeah, I think that's all I got. If we want to get into it.
Oh, I want to get into it, baby.
Oh,
baby.
Nelly. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
I was like, the Jurassic Park might get mad at you.
I know. I don't want to get mad at me again.
No, it's okay.
He gets so angry.
I actually, you know what? I took a lot of chill pills.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So I'm good now.
You know what it was? It was a full moon, and when it's a full moon, you have that that sign where you get angry.
Yeah, Mercury was in retro gay, so.
Okay, yeah.
Mercury was in Gatorade.
Yeah.
and when Mercury's in Gatorade,
testosterone high today. Making some solid facts.
Mercury is in Gatorade. I hate when I'm like, my Virgo ass is just trying to figure everything out, and then what do I know? Mercury's in Gatorade, and then it just screws everything up.
Yeah, dude. You gotta quench your thirst.
It's just science.
That's so funny. I don't know why I like that. All right, let's start with
Lost track.
We're gonna go. So we got the Thursday night football preview. I got some old highlights of the Atlanta Falcons. We're gonna start on the Falcons side of the ball. Yes. So we got the Falcons here. We're gonna start. We always go quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense. So we'll start with the quarterback, Matt Ryan. Do you trust him? It seems like every week I start him, he does terrible, and every week that I don't start him, he does well.
So quick question, are you starting him or not?
I don't want to.
So start him. Simple. We don't need to say anything else. But yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan, Carolina, it's weird because it's like their defense is playing good against the pass. I still look at Matt Ryan as a low-end QB1. I think Carolina's going to be able to score and put up points as well on them. What was the score do you have last time? Or do you have his points last time against Carolina? If you want to jump into that. I don't know if it's one of your stats you have up.
He put up a whopping at home against the Carolina Panthers. A whopping 6.9 points.
He was also Julio-less, I believe.
Yeah, Julio-less. He threw for 226 yards and 0 touchdowns. It was the second of back-to-back games where he threw for 0 touchdowns. He's just been all over the place. He's got 2 games where he's got 4 touchdowns, and he's got 5 games with 2 touchdowns or less. I don't know. He's a back-end QB1. He might be like QB12. On the road against the Panthers, they've been kind of stingy against pass callers. They haven't played against the greatest, quarterbacks, so it hasn't been like, they're shutting down these like elite pass options, but for what it's worth, they have been doing their part as a secondary to limit the upside of the quarterback position. So yeah, he's kind of like a back end QB1 for me. Depending on who you have, maybe you have another quarterback. I feel like a lot of times now, unless you have like a Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, a lot of times people will have another backup quarterback that maybe you could play the matchups, whoever has a better one. Maybe this would be a scenario where you go with the latter of the other quarterback potentially in this matchup right here. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a low-end QB1 for me. I think he's a different quarterback when he has Julio and when he doesn't have Julio. It's night and day. Pretty much going forward, if he doesn't have Julio, if Julio gets hurt. Julio actually, I think, started to practice today, but I think he's fine. But if he doesn't have Julio, I don't trust Matt Ryan end of the day. And he does have Julio in this game. And like you said, the Carolina Panthers, they've played decent on defense. It's like you said, they haven't played like the craziest quarterback. So he's a low-end one to me. I'll just throw out some names really quick and kind of who would you go with? I guess we could go same game real quick. Bridgewater or Ryan?
I'm going Teddy Bridgewater.
Some Teddy Moses?
Yeah. I like that.
Would you go Joe Burrow, the donkey?
Joe Burrow.
The Bengals are playing the Tennessee Titans.
That is correct.
So I'll go with Joe Burrow. I think he's got the most pass attempts in the league right now. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
He's like top 5 in pass attempts. I think Matt Ryan might be too, but I'll go with Joe Burrow on that one.
I'm gonna go Matty Ice. Joe Burrow, three goose egg touchdown games. Another game with 1 touchdown. Yeah, he had the 3 touchdowns last week. That was his first his first big shootout game. I trust Matt Ryan a little more. Comes down to me. It's a close one, but I do trust Matt Ryan a little more.
Was Joe Burrow my start of the week last week?
He was.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
He was.
That's wild, dude.
Dude, that's so wild.
Yeah. Okay.
Low-end QB1.
Low-end QB1. I like that. We can move on to running back here. We got Todd Gurley.
You're starting Todd Gurley. I can't imagine a scenario where you're not. He's actually a top 12.
He's up there.
Running back.
He's top 12 quarterback too.
He's actually RB8 right now on the year in PPR leagues,
which is wild.
So you're down.
He's just getting so much of the workload. It seems like, and he's falling into the end zone.
The end zone's the big thing, and he's actually been a lot better of a standard play than a PPR. Well, I guess because he scored so many times, he's still been a pretty good PPR play. But if he hasn't the games he hasn't gotten into the end zone because of the lack of passing game work, he's been a little bit disappointment. This is a high-powered offense. They're gonna give him the ball in the red zone. He hasn't been the greatest, but it's like one of those things where it's like he's just getting the volume, and he's an efficient enough player to where you're not really benching him.
Yeah, for sure. I feel bad for him because I feel like people are like getting mad at him for the Falcons losing on Sunday against the Lions. Like, he shouldn't have scored. They even have I've seen it on like Instagram or even like NFL, ESPN. They've been showing it where Matt Ryan was mic'd up and he was telling Gurley like, just get the first down and then fall down, don't score. And Gurley's like, okay, I got it, and and he scores. So
the way he scored, it wasn't like he ran in the end zone.
yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? He like fell in the end zone. The defender kind of like let go of him.
The defender like held him up a little bit. He's like, "Hey, don't go down yet."
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, he almost, and then he like realized that he was getting close to end zone. And he almost like let go of him. So it's not like he just blindly was like, "Nah, fuck you, Matt Ryan. I'm running this in."
Yeah, but I just feel that they're putting all the blame on him. Like, oh, Gurley shouldn't have scored. But it's like
maybe Matt Ryan should have just fucking had a better game too.
Maybe the defense should do what they're getting paid millions of dollars to do, or the X amount of dollars they're getting paid to do, and stop Stafford from scoring.
I couldn't agree more. I think I hate when people blame a whole game on one person.
Yeah, so
there's no I in team. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, Gurley's been consistent. He, for whatever it is, man, the guy's just got a nose for the end zone.
Yeah.
You say except for kickers.
Yeah, I was trying to get you fired
piss me off. All right, let's move on to Julio Jones. I mean, it's come on. If he's in, he's in. You know what I mean?
Same with this next.
There was no fucking flub.
Yeah, put him in. Julio Jones. All right. Let's move on to the next one here.
Riddle me this. Start
Calvin Ridley.
Hey, you're starting the best receiver on the Falcons, Calvin Ridley.
It is pretty wild how quick. Calvin Ridley is fucking good. All right.
It's pretty good.
Let's move on to the next one. We got Russel Gage. This is where it gets a little tricky.
Not in this matchup. I mean, he's been a lot better when Julio Jones is on the field. It's like I think he's had at least 4 receptions in every game and at least 50 yards, I want to say, or 45 roughly. But against the Carolina Panthers, like I said, they've been playing decent. I'm not trusting the third, maybe fourth option since the new coaching staff has kind of taken over. Hayden Hurst has been a little bit more involved as well too. So.
Yeah, he'd be more of like a PPR guy. If you need like a third receiver, maybe you're in a double flex league and you're kind of just thin at the position, injuries. You got bye weeks, couple players on bye. Then maybe you'll throw Russel Gage in there. But I mean, yeah, it's more PPR. He's got 1 touchdown on the year, so I don't feel comfortable starting a guy like that. At least in PPR, he'll give me some decent value. He's got 4 games in PPR of 10 or more points. But, yeah, if I could not start Russel Gage, I would prefer to not start him. But if you need to in a pinch, he's better than other options. That
if you play Russel Gage, because it's a Thursday night game, put him in your wide receiver slot. And then that way, if you have a running back and receiver you can't decide between on Sunday, then you can throw him in your flex. You just have more options rather than having Russel Gage in your flex and you're limited to playing whatever receivers.
Yeah. Who's on a bye week? You got the Cardinals on a bye this week.
Cardinals, the Washington football team's on a bye.
You got the Jaguars on a bye. And there's another team I off the top of my head I can't think of it. So, I mean, there's a scenario where there's a team out there. You have McLaurin. You got Christian Kirk. D Hop, Chark. Keelan Cole, one of those guys. And you kind of just like, man, I just need somebody to throw into my lineup. So, like an emergency kind of play. PPR.
Break glass, hit the button.
Yeah.
Break glass.
You know who
Eat
else
ass.
breaks glass?
What?
I thought you were just going to go to the next guy.
Oh. Hayden Hurst.
I don't know if he breaks glass, but what if he's like low-key like, hey, my hobby is breaking glass and making art? I read about that in a book. WHNTE.
Breaking glass.
But I mean, Hayden Hurst. I mean, I did bring it up for the player. I have no idea what I was talking about. The right before is he seemed to be a little bit more involved since the new coaching staff has kind of taken over. I mean, I think he's sneakily, if that's a word. I think tight end 5 in the year.
He's tight end 8 in PPR leagues.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
I forgot half the other circle. Yeah. Made it 5. But yeah, I mean, he's the last 2 weeks 4 for 57 and a touchdown, 6 for 68, and I mean, and the targets have been there as well for. I mean, a few weeks ago, 7, 4, 6, 6. I like Hayden Hurst this week.
By the way, sneakily is a word. I just looked it up.
Hell yeah, is it on Scrabble? That's how you know it's a word.
It says in a furtive or sly way. I'd say it's pretty sly.
Yeah, it's
coming
pretty
in
sneakily sly.
Tight end 8 in PPR leagues.
Yeah, I'm not mad at starting him this week against the Panthers, but last time in Week 5 when they played the Panthers, he costed me my win.
He costed you the game.
He costed me my win. I'm just kidding. Inside joke on the last episode with Mike, but I mean, yeah, he's kind of like a back end tight end 1 for me, and for what it's worth, like you said, Matt Ryan's a little bit better with Julio Jones. I think this offense in general, just in all the skill players, are just better.
Everyone's
With
better.
a guy like Julio Jones out there.
You spread the field.
Yeah.
Makes it easier
So
on everyone else.
for what it's worth, in the 2 games with no Julio Jones, he only has 5. He's averaging 5 PPR points per game, Hayden Hurst. But in the other games with Julio Jones on the field, he's averaging 12.5 PPR points. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth, like I said. So, back end tight end 1. You could do worse at the tight end position.
Hayden Hurst or I don't know.
Gronk.
I think I'm going to go Gronk.
Evan Ingram.
Hayden Hurst.
I go Hayden Hurst over Ingram. I'd probably go Gronk based off of what we've seen recently and no Godwin.
Yeah, I think Gronk is starting to turn it on. I was telling Mike a little bit earlier off air. I just feel like, the guy hasn't played football in over a year. There was no preseason, no training camp really. I mean, it's kind of hard for him to get acclimated. Obviously, you had O.J. Howard there as well. He's out for the season now. Godwin's been banged up. I mean, at the end of the day, who does Brady have the best rapport with? It's Gronk. So when I feel like when they get in close, or maybe he needs like a big 3rd down conversion or someone he could really rely on, he's probably going to look Gronk's way a lot more times than not. So yeah, I definitely think Gronk's values is definitely on the rise.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how he does when all 3 of these guys are finally on. Well, if they're ever finally on the field together, all 3. I mean, as in AB, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans, because I think there's only 1 game, maybe 2, when Godwin and Evans have both played or been on the field for the whole entire game.
I think Antonio Brown, the same way with Hayden Hurst, it will help Gronk and all these other guys on the offense.
For sure, yeah.
I think it just because what's his name likes to spread the ball a lot. Tom Brady. All right. Let's move on to the Falcons defense.
If you're in a 32-team man league,
fired up.
Yeah, no, because you might get negative points.
Take your chances, then you get them.
Drop them and don't play them.
I seen something the other day. It was on Twitter, and the guy was like, I'm up 3 points. I have the Bears defense left, and my opponent has nobody left. So essentially, he already won, but he's got the Bears defense left. He's like, do I just bench the Bears defense so they don't get me negative 4 points and I end up losing? He's like, or is that bad, like sportsmanship? And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking like, that's called strategy.
Yeah, like pull it out.
Yeah, what's the point? Like, pull out game strong, dude. Like, you already have the win sealed. Like, whether you win by 3 or 20, a win is a win.
Yeah, with the position player, I would still play the position player, but with the defense, they can easily get negative.
Yeah.
That's where it's. I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah.
If it was like Todd, I had Todd Gurley, I'd start Todd Gurley.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
Or if I had like Russell Gage, but with the defense, they can go negative and they could lose you a game. So that's a realistic possibility. So I would be like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, fam.
Yeah.
I
thought about doing it when I'm up by like 2 points and I'm like, I have like a player going. I'm like, but what if there's a stat correction? I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, there we go. We got the Carolina Panthers. We'll start with
Teddy Bridgewater.
Does
Does anyone get that when I say Teddy Moses? Because Bridgewater.
That makes sense. I like that.
I've said it like 100 times, and I'm just like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to have to explain it this time.
No, I like it.
Yeah, dude. See, I'm wicked smart.
I mean,
I went to school and I learned about Teddy Moses.
Well, I mean, Moses didn't really bridge over, like he didn't like make a bridge.
I mean,
he separated it.
Tomato.
I don't know. Just saying.
Tomato. Yeah,
Mama's wrong again.
I like Teddy Bridgewater this week. I mean, if you need a streaming option, like I said, you got some quarterbacks that are on bye here. Maybe you got Kyler Murray. You just need to find a replacement. He's not owned in a ton of leagues. He was one of the guys on the waiver wire that we went over for the streaming option. He's 64% available on ESPN at least. Last game when they played in Atlanta, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's only had 2 games this year where he's gone over 20 or more points in like standard quarterback scoring. And one of those games was against Atlanta. I'm just assuming this time at home he'll be able to put up some more points again against the Falcons. So, yeah, I do like Teddy Bridgewater this week as a streaming option.
Yeah, he's just a solid play. I mean, in certain leagues, I have to stream, and it's like, I'm like, dude, I don't want to like fuck with like Drew Lock, some of these other guys that are there. It's like, I know Teddy Moses is going to get me at least, like you said, a solid 18 points, especially in this matchup. He's someone too where his matchups have dictated his quarterback finishes to where when he plays a tougher opponent, he's kind of those are the games where he struggled a little bit as far as fantasy goes, and when he's played a softer opponent, that's when he's played better. So I mean, not a massive upside play of what we've seen so far, but I mean, if there is, I think there is a little bit more upside in this matchup than in particular than most matchups because he is playing the Falcons. Matt Ryan with the full arsenal of weapons. If he goes out there and starts lining up against Carolina, Teddy's going to have to do the same thing, and he can against Carolina or against Atlanta. So a lot of Annas.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons have given up 310 or more passing yards every single game this week. So I mean, Teddy Bridgewater was one of those guys back in Week 5. So I'm just going to assume again that he can at least get 310 passing yards this time being at home. I do like him. Like in one league, I have Stafford. I'm going to bench Stafford and I'm going to stream Bridgewater this week.
Shit. I'm just kidding because you're like, whenever I stream someone, they fucking suck, and I'm like, well, I'm benching Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of true. Yeah. Bridgewater's been the one exception because I think it's the Falcons defense that they're the gift that just keeps on giving.
Because he's part Moses.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to Christian McCaffrey.
I don't think he's going to play this week, but I don't know. What do you guys? I mean, I guess I could make that quick.
I mean, it's a short week again. I don't know. I mean, he's kind of been out there, like, quote unquote, practicing. But I was telling someone the other day, like, yeah, it's a short week. So practice for them is kind of just like a walkthrough. They're not like full on practicing as if you were preparing for a Sunday or a Monday night football game. So it's kind of just like you take it for what it is worth. If he's out there, I mean, if the Panthers feel confident to throw him out on the field, then you have to feel just as confident throwing him into your lineup.
You're flexing him at least. I don't know if he's a top 15 option, but he's a top 24.
For sure, yeah.
Because he can still catch 5 balls.
Yeah. I mean, if McCaffrey's on the field for the Panthers, he's in my lineup.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially against Falcons.
But just like Anthony said, monitor it because I'm kind of on Anthony's side. I'm not sure if he plays this week. It's like maybe just give him one more week to really heal because it was a short week, and at least next week going forward they'll have extra time to prepare for the Chiefs in Week 9.
All right, we can move on to the next one here. We got Mike Davis. So Mike Davis had like kind of a dud week last week, but he went up against the Saints defense. So I think
you can't win them all.
Yeah, like we talked about it on our start sits last week. I'm pretty sure.
No. Last week was unless you're like Kamara and maybe like CMC when he's healthy. It's like these guys have bad games. It just happens.
Yeah, I feel like he just kind of spoiled everyone as soon as he came in. He was putting up these McCaffrey numbers. I mean, when McCaffrey goes down in PPR, he's putting up 15, 23, 22, 30, and 11,
like
which is his down game. So you're like, when he comes out and he gets you 8.5, you're thinking like, what? Mike Davis like I'm 8.5, but I mean he's gotten you 5 or more catches in 5 of the 6 games. So yeah, if McCaffrey's not out there, you're definitely dialing up.
I guess
Mike Davis.
The real question would be is if McCaffrey does play, are you still starting Mike Davis, or are you gonna go? That's a no for me, dog.
I would still dial up Mike Davis because I wouldn't assume McCaffrey not playing for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it was.
We would have heard
them just to give him a full workload. I would assume Mike Davis has been productive. He's been doing a good job in this offense. He's been moving the chains for them. You don't want to just throw McCaffrey out there after, like I said, not playing for 6-7 weeks and give him a full workload. I would assume for them to kind of ease him back in, and this maybe be like a 60-40 split McCaffrey, or maybe even like a straight 50-50 split.
That's why.
So even if McCaffrey's out there, I'd probably still be starting Mike Davis as like a low-end RB2.
Yeah, you can still flex him.
I'm kind of with you guys on the whole Christian McCaffrey. I feel like we would have heard some hype or something come out by now if Christian McCaffrey was going to play. So, to further your guys' point, I agree. We'll move on to DJ Moore. What's going on with this big boy? He's doing better. He's doing good. He's a guy.
Hashtag interesting stat. He's got 93 yards in 3 straight games.
Make it 4.
What is that like? What are the statistical probability? The statistical probability of that happening. 93 yards on the dot, 3 straight weeks.
Hold on. 9.3%.
I feel like it's way less than
0.0009%.
You gotta make it 0.0093, so it adds to the 93.
There you go. I like that. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
That's crazy, but I mean,
That's why I said 9.3. I was looking at the 93.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking.
I mean, the last 3 weeks he's been, as Dre would say, balling. I mean, he's got a couple long touchdowns.
He's about to ball.
93 yards in 3 straight weeks. He's got 3 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks as well. Like I said, the Falcons defense is the defense that just keeps on giving. If we're hyped on Teddy Bridgewater, you got to be hyped on the pass catchers here, like DJ Moore and Robby Anderson.
Yeah, it's like when the offseason hit, they were like, "Hey, DJ Moore, I got something in my throat. Hey, Robby Anderson, you guys are gonna switch roles." And they're like, "Okay," because it's like DJ Moore is playing more of what we anticipated, or at least I and other people anticipated Robby Anderson would do, and Robby Anderson is doing more of what I anticipated DJ Moore to do. With that said, though, I mean, he's top 10 in air yards, top 10 in deep targets. He's getting these deep looks, and I don't think I'm really ever going to bench DJ Moore because of the especially in like any kind of bonus league, because he's getting these deep targets and he's getting these he's making these big plays. It's kind of like he's not that PPR guy anymore. He's more of like those like his pace right now is like a 70 reception, 1,300 yards, like 7 touchdowns. So he's going to be more of like the long play type. He's not going to be – Robby Anderson's going to be the guy who leads the team in catches. But he's going to be the big play guy in this offense. So, you're going to probably have some weeks where he does see 4 or 5 targets and he gets 4 for 54. But then you're also going to have the games where he gets 6 or 7 receptions for 100 and something and either 1 or 2. So, it's a complete different outlook than what I anticipated with DJ Moore. But I'm not benching him very often.
Yeah, I mean, I have a league. I have DJ Moore and Robby Anderson. I've been playing them like every week almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working out because
in
you're
PPR,
getting 15 catches between both of them.
I'm all in on the Panthers.
That's a shout out from last year. I had a buddy who had like every Bucs player. He had Jameis Winston.
I've seen people do that. There was
Ryan Fitz. He didn't mean to, but like that, it just ended up happening. Like he didn't, it was his first time playing. But he had Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, like O.J. Howard, and then,
I've seen like the year when the Chiefs, like Patrick Mahomes, was like 50 touchdowns. Some dude had like all the Chief players, but it was working because Patrick Mahomes was throwing 50 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to our one of our boys, Spatty. He won our boys league back in the day. He had the killer bees. He had Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell.
Nice.
And they carried him to a chip.
They killed the beast.
So
that was wild. It was like the top. Remember, it was like the top 3 picks.
Yeah.
It was like Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. Just saying. Robby Anderson, we'll do it. Let's talk about it. I think you can start.
Yeah, PPR monster.
This is amazing this week. It's great.
I mean, he's even though DJ Moore's been
so hot right now.
Hot like Hansel lately. I mean, Robby Anderson's been just as hot, if not hotter, throughout the season. I mean, 3 games over 100 yards. Another game when he had 99 yards. I mean, if you're talking about PPR and a safe floor in PPR leagues, he's had 10 or more every single week. So he's a locked and loaded, set it and forget it to me at this point. He's one of these guys I feel like a lot of people are kind of sleeping on, me included. But Mike, you were on it. You were saying like, I don't understand, why aren't people really talking about this guy? Me. So he said, "Yeah, tell me about it." But yeah,
Speak
I mean, like I said, you hit that nail right in the head, and Robby Anderson has been balling.
The
Balling.
Panthers don't have a tight end, so next.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the defense. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Panthers have targeted the tight end the least. I think it's like 10%.
I was talking to Mike before.
So low. It's like so low.
We started, and I was watching the game that's on TV right now, and they were like, he threw the ball to Ian Thomas, and the announcer was like, a rare target to the tight end here. It's because it's like literally they don't throw to the tight end.
What about Curtis Samuel? Just a guy who he's a guy.
He is a guy.
Yeah, my bad.
Is he a guy that you would be interested in playing? I don't. I'm just saying I don't know if people are in a situation where they're like
I saw some
bye
people,
weeks, somebody got injuries. Or,
I think if you're gonna play him in any matchup, this might be the one you could play him in.
Yeah.
So I'm not completely mad at it. I'm not excited about it.
See, here's the thing when it comes to these guys, we've like Curtis Samuel and I guess even Russell. It's like if I'm going to take the chance, I want a chance on someone who can get me 100 yards and a touchdown or 2, like a big play type of guy. Like it's like the air yards are going to DJ Moore and Robby Anderson. Curtis Samuel's getting these little small plays, so he's going to need to have a fluke play to have a big game. So it's like if I'm rolling that dice, with someone who can get me fucking 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's my personal strategy. If I'm going to be playing these type of guys. Like I don't want 4 for 36. Like I'll take 3 for 97 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony right there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm with you, man. I just saying
Sorry.
in any if you're gonna play Curtis Samuel like in any week, I think against the Falcons pass defense, I think it's one of the best times to play him.
Solid point.
To make the argument to start him. So in that case, if you're in a pinch, I get it. Maybe in a PPR league, maybe he gets like a little sweep around and rushes the ball in because he's been doing that this year. You never know. Could happen. Angels could win the pennant. Panthers defense.
Hey, it's 2020. The Dodgers could win the World Series.
Hey.
Ooh.
Oh.
It was no fucking flub.
Let's go. So Panthers defense. Do you feel comfortable starting Panthers defense?
Nah, I don't.
It's gonna be a no for me as well.
That's a no for me, dog.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
I'm so glad we got that in there. That's definitely a no for me. All right. Well, I was just curious what you guys thought. So we got. I'm just curious for betting. Just because this is a short episode, I feel like we can talk about it. What do you think in this matchup? We got the Panthers are favored by 2.5 points. The over/under is 51.5. The Falcons were way under last week against the Lions. Curious.
I know they cost me a ticket for
Me too.
$10,000. If them and the Lions could just score on offense,
Yeah, that's rough.
I'll be $10,000 rich right now.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I digress.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like if you were gonna bet one of these, I'm curious what you guys would do.
If I'm gonna bet, you got the Panthers at home -2.5. I do like the
that.
Panthers at home. Matt Ryan, he used to playing in a dome. So going outside to play inside at the Panthers in Carolina, I'm assuming it's gonna be a little bit chillier out there down in South Carolina. But yeah, I do like the Panthers at home. Like I said, Falcons pass defense, they give it up like Blair. So I'll go with the home team in this division game right here. For a home team to not be favored at least by 3 points at home, I'll take them to at least win by a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it comes down to who would win in a fight, 5 Falcons or a Panther. There's your answer.
What is the answer?
I mean, I'm gonna go with Panther. That one. Falcons are pretty gnarly though.
As for the over/under, I got it at 51 here. I don't know what you have.
If I'm gonna go -2.5, I'm gonna go over.
I think I'm gonna go under. I've bet the Panthers and the Falcons a lot of over games, and every single time I've lost. For what it's worth, I mean, you have Young Hoku from the Falcons. That's a guy. If you have a kicker and he's out there in your league, I know kickers. We always joke around that they're non-existent, but a lot of leagues, you need a kicker. A lot of people probably don't even pay attention to kickers, but I mean, Young Hoku is one of the better kickers in the league. He's the number 2 kicker right now in fantasy football. I'd go get him if he's available. But I mean, the Falcons, they seem to stall in the red zone, and for whatever it is, the Panthers stall in the red zone all the time.
Sure.
They're very good at driving to the 20. I don't know if it's just without CMC they're kind of struggling, but they're always kicking field goals too with Joey Sly.
So you're going -2.5 in the under.
I would go -2.5 in the under, or like I did last week. Sometimes you kind of just want to play it safe. The difference from the -2.5 at -110 to the money line, maybe I just take Panthers money line.
Nice.
And the under. Mike had to learn the hard way last week.
Yes, with the Eagles. But I was solid on that under.
You were.
It was a little sketchy at the end though.
I don't bet over-unders.
Yeah.
I always take over if I bet.
Me neither.
I think I've done like 12 over-unders in my life, and 11 out of 12. Actually,
Went over?
13 out of 12 are overs.
I think these.
I'm over on my overs.
He's over on his overs.
All right. Well, I'm betting the over.
Panthers money line and the under.
All right. I'm doing that.
I like it.
All right. Okay. Well, that's all she wrote. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I want to talk about what she wrote.
What she wrote?
Yeah.
What'd she write?
Yeah, what did she write?
Who wrote?
She wrote me something. She wrote me this text, and it was like,
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
I got both of them at the same time.
Nice.
That's what she wrote.
Nice.
It's because
I
you
got
got
both
those.
of them at the
It's because
same
you guys
time.
got the block thumbs.
Yeah, it's usually how the text messages come from girls. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
did
with
she
your
just
with your
Blah blah
stu-
blah
your
blah blah
stupid
blah blah
fucking
blah blah
thumbs.
Shout out to any girl followers we have.
Yeah,
We did not mean that.
We have probably one.
Well, now we have 0.
We did that live stream, and that girl was like, "I'm gonna tell my boyfriend about you guys."
I think it was a dude because she was like, she was like something like, say less, fam. And some guy was like, no girl says fam. That's a dude.
That's a dude.
It's like, valid point. That's a dude.
Yeah, shout out to our girl followers.
All right,
Thanks,
you can cut
Bethany.
this.
All right, I'm waiting for Turbo to hit the fucking music.
I was like, oh, say less.
Thank you.
Wait, I got it for you, Mike.
That's your favorite one, huh?
It's the only one I know.
Thanks for listening to the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. Join us. Go money line in the under. Almost forgot already. Like I always say, subscribe to us
If that
on
hits,
YouTube.
you can Venmo us 5%.
Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Hit the bell notification if you haven't already. Like this video if you watched this video and it was helpful at all. Go ahead and like it. Helps us in the algorithm. Yeah, leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. All these links are down in the description below. Like I said, go check out our articles we've been posting. Those are dope too. That's on avgfantasyfootball.com. That link's down below as well. Anything else?
No.
Nope. Us big boys are out.
You big boy.